don't fight, chasing shadows in the night. Promises made, but I let them fade. Caught in the cycle, I'm feeling betrayed. Round and round, I'm losing ground. Trying to break free, but I can't see. These negative patterns are haunting me. Nights turn to days, I'm losing my way. Thought I found peace, but it's led me astray. Chasing the high, but it only brings pain. The more I run, the less I gain.
Hey everybody, hey, and welcome to another session of Tarika Said Again. And today, oh my gosh, we got a treat for you today. I have an Olympian in the office today. Yep, you heard me, an Olympian. Her name is Coach Moushaumi Robinson. She has joined us today, and listen, she's gonna tell us all about her journey, how she got to the point of being an Olympian gold medalist for track. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
You're amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And thank you for having me. Thank you for just inviting me in to speak to you and your audience about some of the things that I've done. And, you know, we've known each other for some time.
Yes.
And I've never really had a chance to kind of talk about in the city some of the things that I've gotten the chance to do, and even seeing you in the community. So I'm just really blessed to be able to chat with you and share with your viewers and, you know, your peers, like, you know, what's been going on and how we stay connected in the community and build on things that each other are doing. So we can kind of, you know, be each other's platforms.
Yes.
You know, that's one of the reasons. Yes. I wanted to come and be a part of what you're doing and the messaging that you're giving to the community. I'm watching you show up on Facebook and I'm loving it. I'm loving your message. I'm loving the accountability. I'm loving the recognition and honoring the subconscious mind and decisions that we make from it. And so I just appreciate you being a woman that's having the conversations that are difficult to have publicly, but getting them started.
Right.
Yeah. And I appreciate that.
And I appreciate that little introduction. Ooh, yes. Y'all, let me. This is what they do.
Clock it.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. I'm boosting my little ego over here. Okay.
We have to as sisters. To speak to me and what I've accomplished. Like I didn't do that without support. I didn't do that without people believing in me. And I think that as Black women, as Black people, as women, you know, a marginalized community, we have to always uplift each other and affirm each other's decision and choices. And one of the things that I've learned, even in my career and path, the reason I was able to be successful is because people bought into my dream, right? Even if they had a way they wanted to go about it, they still bought in to what Moushaumi wanted.
Right.
Understanding that it's going to get us all to our ultimate goal, but they were in the buy-in. Right. And I think as we build and as we grow and time changes, it's important that we buy into what each other wants to do. I may have a million ideas, right? I may have 15 different ways that I think you should go about doing the thing you have 5 different ways to do. But in order for me to be successful in showing up for you, I have to be a servant leader. I have to be able to say, this is what Tarika wants. How can I best show up with my gifts the way she needs me to? Not just how I want to, but how does she need me to show up? Because that's what's really going to take her to the next level. That's how we use our platforms, right? I think we're kind of getting out of that, do it because I want you to do it this way because I'm helping you, right? And I think the more we're open to being servant leaders and servant leadership, we're going to see some of the best come out of people, some of the greatest things. I was able to be successful because people were servant leaders to me, even when they were coaching me. And this was something, Tarika, I didn't realize till after the fact, until I was an adult, that a lot of it was acquiescing to the type of athlete that I was. Even when they were coaching other athletes, I didn't think about their intentionality behind it. And I noticed that my success was a lot based on that. And when I look back over my career and those that were not as intentional about showing up in the way that I need them to, are we being on the same page? I've noticed the deficits in my career where I had the losses. But then it was the times that the coaches they had their plan. Everyone has their structure, right? They have their program. But me being a part of their program was something special to them too. So it was a partnership. And that really allowed me to win gold medals in the Olympics, at World Championships, have a 15-year career of changing coaches and doing what is best, right? So I just affirm you. And that's why I've said I have to show up. We must show up, you know. It's not just about me having an Olympic gold medal. It's about me understanding that the things that you wrote in your book are all a part of what is happening in our lifestyle on an everyday basis, about every decision that we make. And the more present we are with that, the more sound we can make in those decisions. Because it's the affirmation and it's the positivity that gets us to the next level. You know, we can get stirred and stuck in analysis paralysis. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do that. But when you're recognizing, okay, I am human. These are feelings that I'm going to have. And it is okay. How do I get past this moment? Because tomorrow's coming and I still have to show up this way. How do I want to? And can I show up better tomorrow than I did today? And you know what? I don't have no more today. Today's over. I'm done. Clocked out. I know it's only 2:30. I don't have that now. I don't have that email, right? I don't have that phone call back. And that's okay. And that's why I wanted to affirm all that you're doing and continue to work with your viewers, whoever you need me to show up, be a part of really being an announcement to the community that there are other people that are standing in wait to want to share and support with each other and uplift. So just thank you again.
And I definitely appreciate you mentioning that type leader, like you say, that serving leader, because we have different type leaders, those that want to delegate, but the fact that you said serving, wanting to assist, how can they help? I think those that's receiving, that they'll want to show up more for them.
Absolutely.
More with a positive attitude, more willing to give more, to give back. And the fact that we're dealing with this sports series right now, I can see that even with the coaches, pouring back into them, encouraging the athletes and the youth versus somebody, a dictator type,
Yes. It is so important. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you brought that up in today's age, right? So the young people of today, the athlete of today does not look like the athlete that I was, right? Although I wasn't the athlete that needed all that, it was a different mindset in terms of we have become conditioned to muzzle our feelings. Because what I'm not going to do is not promote the fact that people should be able to express themselves. People should feel seen, safe, and heard, right? So I love the fact that our young people are dialed into their fields, right? I think it's important that we delegate, compartmentalize, help them understand and cope with different feelings, and let them know that those are emotions that are part of the human makeup, that there's nothing wrong with you feeling this particular feeling. Let's really talk about why we feel that way. So what I'm loving is that those who want to be successful, those coaches, are evolving and changing and growing. The coach that coached me is having to coach differently. So I love seeing that evolution, because when we're growing, we're living, and we're going to continue to live. So, life is changing. But I think what's important too, with the name, image, and likeness, it's important that coaches, if they truly want to see a young person be successful, is that they are more adamant about substance and sustenance and self-efficacy, almost as much as they're about learning the skill of the shot or the score or that dribble with the feet in soccer. Because it's the lack of self-efficacy that no matter how much training you do, no matter how many words of affirmation you receive, you will not be successful if you don't believe, right?
Mindset.
So I can, Nike could like me. Let's say Body Armor. Let's get some of these PetSmart, whatever, right? They may see the high school kid or the college kid. That's amazing. They may want to sign the daughter for $16,000 to do this, and she's only 17, right? And that's a lot of money for a kid to just show up on a Saturday or whatever, or not show up at all. But now, what's affirming her? Is it the $16,000 or what she's showing up to do? Because let's not forget why we're giving them that. There's something about her name, image, and likeness. And we should not promote that her beauty or her gift or his sport is enough. Where's your character? And so that's what I hope and encourage, like, coaches continue to pour back in. And with them dialing into their athletes' feelings, they can. Because that's the component that you're going to need.
Right.
It's not going to be enough. You're going to have 17 students that can shoot the ball great. You're going to have 17 young men and women that can have a beautiful backhand, right? But what's their character like? When they're off the court, when the racket's not in their hand, what decisions do they make when no one's looking? Have you created a selfless human being? So Those are the things that are so important when we think about our young people today with sports. It is great to have a great coach. It's great to know how to run, to have speed, to be strong. But if their mind and their spirit is not strong now, gold medals are going to be hard to come by, you know, and I have to be honest about that. The time has changed. I love the fact that we are giving resources for our talents to our young people, but I think there's a responsibility of the coaches, the mentors, the parents, teachers. You know, there's a responsibility for all of us now to say, hey, listen, you know, I understand how this company sees your value to them, but what is your value to yourself as you offer it to the world? Because what I found, sis, is we go through decades of life. So we're now in our 20s, right? And we navigate those waters. We go through our 30s and we navigate those waters. And in each decade, we become a little more wise and a little more polished. Whether you walk in it or not, you are gaining more knowledge. And I think that I want our young people to wake up from their 20s and their 40s saying, I'm enough. Yeah. And I know if I don't do what these people say, I'm still enough. And I can go outside and work at a soup kitchen and feel like enough and feel valuable. You know, it's unfortunate for people to give so much to a job, to give so much to an organization, and then they still don't feel like they're enough. And so I encourage people to learn what it's like to be selfless. And the only way you can learn to be selfless is to serve others that can do absolutely nothing for you. Then you'll know your own capacity. And I think that with our young people in sports, the best way to see them successful is to always show them their value outside of that sport that they're playing. And then they can build that on tandem. But that's what we need to do with people every day. That's why it's so important to affirm. You know, yeah, you may be great at this job. You may be great. You may be the greatest boss. But you know what? This man needs to be affirmed that he's an awesome friend or an awesome son or a great uncle. Maybe she needs to know that she's an amazing aunt, or amazing godmother, you know, or amazing gardener, or just an amazing neighbor. It's a person, you know, all the time. And then you start to feel that glass half full, and then you start to see the glass is all the way full, because it is. I tell people that all the time. The glass is full. When you have a half glass of water, if we've taken chemistry, we know that oxygen is a gas. So there is no water, there are gases, therefore the glass is full. And so when you look at it like that and you pour in, if you're pouring into a full glass of yourself, guess what? You're now in the overflow. And now people are receiving all those goodness of you. Because when you take in people's goodness and you already feel full, you're just going to pour it right back out. But if you see that glass is half empty, you're not just trying to take everything that you can because you don't feel like you're enough. When you know you're enough, your glass is full. And now we engage someone. I engage someone like you, and now I'm in the overflow. And now we're having the conversation because you got me in my overflow. That's what this is all about. And I hope that our young people in sports really own that, and the people who work with them make them stay steadfast in that before any dollar value. And I think we'll see a world change.
Definitely. We hope that that's what's going on, right? And I like how you said, for those that are put in place, like the coaches, the teachers, etc., how it's basically those put in place as the overseers, the caregivers, you know, for them to just pour back into them. I want to ask you, because I want us to back up a little bit, what made you pursue this track and field, you know, when you were younger?
So, to be honest, I was 7 years old, and I was in the basement of my parents' home in Columbus, Ohio. And it's the 1988 Olympics. For that I know about Olympics. And I'm watching 100 meters, and this woman she runs. She has this long hair and nice nails. Cross the finish line. She wins. And I run upstairs, and I tell my mom, I'm going to win a gold medal for me, you, and Dad.
That sounds like
And it was FloJo.
FloJo, okay.
It was Florence Griffith Joyner. Okay. I didn't know who she was at the time. I just remember seeing this black girl, long nails, long hair, run fast and win. And I was like, that's cool. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And that's all I did. I got up, ran upstairs. I was 7 years old. My mom was cooking a pot of peas. And I said, I'm going to go medal for me, you, and Dad.
That's great that you was able to remember that exact moment.
Because who says that at 7?
Right.
Like, who's sitting down in their parents' basement, crisscross applesauce, watching the Olympics, and then see somebody run, just gets up and runs upstairs like, I'm winning Olympic gold medal for me, you, and Dad.
You spoke
and then run back downstairs. And it was at 9 years old, my dad was supposed to be taking me to, I think, like a dance class or gymnastics at a recreation center in Columbus. Mm-hmm. And he takes me to a track meet. Before we went to the track meet, he stopped by the store. We get some black shorts and a white t-shirt. It might have been from Walmart. I just remember he bought me and my cousin something. We was there for the summer. Mm-hmm. He signed her up for a little softball throw. Okay. While he signed me up for the 50-meter dash. Okay. I get second. I qualify for a national meet. Okay. First ever running. Mm-hmm. All I remember is we go home to the house and I hear my parents fussing. I hear my mom say distinctly, Harold, you know we can't afford to take that girl to Pennsylvania. I don't even know why you would take her. He's like, babe, she got second, got the ribbon and everything. Mm-hmm. She got second, she qualified. So I'm thinking Hershey's Nationals, Pennsylvania. Right. Mm-hmm. And so, she was like, we can't afford that, blah, 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 blah. It's at 9. And so fast forward, I didn't do any sports or any track until 7th grade. And you could start. Okay. So we went from just 9 and my dad seeing that I was fast to me actually doing it for school. And so I did. It was good. I like being fast. I like winning. And I had a friend who's on my middle school track team that told me about summer track. And so that 8th grade summer, I did summer track. And I'm like, oh, wow. And so we made it to nationals, our 4x1. And that was the first time I flew anywhere to San Jose. And that's where our nationals was for USA Track and Field. I'm like, oh, this is really, really cool. Mm-hmm. And so then, came back, ran track the next year. But I took that summer off because I was already starting to feel burnt out. Oh, okay. So my sophomore summer, I did a leadership camp at Indiana University for 7 weeks, reading books, writing essays on the diaspora, because I was also an academic kid. Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful that my parents gave me that time off from track, because had I not, I probably wouldn't have continued on after college. I would have probably burnt out. Yeah, I think I needed to have that space at 16. And so the following summer, school was still great. I won states my junior year in the 400. I'll remember this, my sophomore year, and this is probably why I took some of the time off. I was the only person that represented my school in the state track meet. And I remember it was regionals. We were getting ready for it. And it's just me and my 2 coaches. And in high school, your coaches seem so old. So 35. They were only, now that they're like 60-something. Yeah, I realized like they were only 30-something, but they seem ancient. They seem so old. And so I just remember my workout was 10 400s in 70 seconds with 1 minute rest. And I remember I got to the 7th one and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I started crying. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm on my cycle. I'm by myself. I don't even might do this with it. And I'm just crying. And Coach Hallie Robinson, hey, Coach Rob, he says, Moshe, how much room is at the top of the mountain peak? What? How much room is at the top of a mountain peak? How many people can fit at the top of a mountain peak? Just 1. That's what your dreams are, girl. You have mountain peak dreams. That's for you. It's only room for 1. It's going to be times that you're by yourself and you still have to get it done, because what you want is a mountain peak goal. Right. I went on the states. I finished 8th overall, just representing the school by myself. And then the following year, he convinced me to run a 400. I did. We win states with 5 of us. Nice. We win states. I won the 400. Came back into my senior year, but it was that summer that I ran summer track, and I won the 200 and 400 for USATF. And so tons of offers started flooding in after the fact, and they had already started flooding in as a sophomore, but I was just like, what is all this, And so then I ended up choosing the University of Texas. It came down to UCLA or Texas.
The Longhorns.
The Longhorns. And, that in and of itself was a decision that came down to, actually a coin toss with one of my advisors at Merrill Lynch. I was on an internship, and I didn't have a decision made. It was between UCLA or Texas, and he said, well, let's just toss a coin.
Oh, okay, just simple, huh?
That's what I said. I said, toss a coin to make a life decision. He says, decide which one you want to be heads and decide which one to be tails. I'm like, okay. He said, you got it? I was like, yeah. So he tosses, his name's Tom Polare, tell the story time. He tosses the coin up in the air. He catches it. I'm like, okay, where am I going? He's like, I don't know, tell me. I was like, flip it over. He's like, mm-mm. He said, there's a side that you want it to be more than the other. He said, what side is it? I was like, heads. He said, what school is heads? I was like, Texas. He said, that's where you go. Okay. And that's really what it came down to. And I was like, wow. How powerful.
Mm-hmm.
How powerful. Like, how much real ownership
Mm-hmm.
when we start tapping into feelings.
Yeah.
And this is a financial advisor, Merrill Lynch, who I've been doing the internship for, me and my friend, so I didn't even know this man was even attached to sports in any kind of way when he called me into his office. Because my signing day was going to be on the news. It was in 2 days. I was stressed. Like, I don't know where I'm going to school.
Right.
There's going to be people there. They're going to want me to make a decision. I don't know. And so I'm like, this man want me to sign my life up for a coin toss? But that was so powerful.
Yeah.
And it made me take ownership at 17 about what I truly feel and owning that. Mm-hmm. And I was grateful to my father, who did let me know no matter where I went, he wanted me to want to be there.
Right.
And that the decision was mine and mine alone, because neither him nor my mother had to go. Yeah. And I appreciate that. Because my mom was like, stay closer to home, baby. And my dad's like, you go wherever you want to go. And so, that took me on. I continued on, and my mindset was, I'm going to go medal in the Olympics. I'm going to go medal in the Olympics. When I graduated in 2003, I graduated 2 college degrees.
Nice.
One's in corporate communication, the other is a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Mm-hmm. And so I needed 144 hours, so it kept me at school another semester. So I switched coaches, still on that campus, and trained with the men's coach. And then when I knew that I was going to be leaving, he was training Marion Jones at the time. So she called me up and asked me if I would like to train with her and move after school when I graduated in December to North Carolina and train with them full time. Mm-hmm. So I was getting sent the workouts and doing the workouts in October until I was done. And at Thanksgiving break, my parents met me in North Carolina. My parents paid for my apartment the entire first year.
Go.
That is why I was able to really win a gold medal, because after I graduated that December and I moved straight to North Carolina and started training in Olympic trials in 6 months, and my parents sacrificed that. I didn't have a job, I was just...
They took care of that financial...
Yeah, I figured out the rest, but they took care of the rent. And, I had to figure out how to make ends meet, but I did it. And, there was no contract. There wasn't an agent. I remember having done Pilates in Texas, and that was important. So I went to Walmart and got a $10 Pilates VHS video.
Okay.
And I told myself, I was like, if I can do 30 V-ups straight, I can win a gold medal. Don't ask me why I was 30 V-ups. It was just one of the harder ab workouts to do. Mm-hmm. And since I would struggle doing 20, I figured if I could do 30, I could win a gold medal. I'm like, I done got this far. If I'm struggling doing 20 and I'm a Big 12 conference champion, NCAA record holding a 4x4, and I'm struggling doing 20 straight, then if I could do 30 straight, I'm an Olympic gold medalist. Mm-hmm. And that was where my mindset was. And before trials, I could do 30 straight. Can't do that today. Mm-hmm. No need to. The medal's right here. It's already done. But it says something about just knowing what's necessary and getting after it.
Right.
I conjured up $10 to go get a Pilates video to work on my core to be able to do those 30 V-ups, right? And then when it came time for Olympic trials, like, the story just gets more intense. I had turned my quad 7 weeks before on my right side. So that story in and of itself, and how I laid hands on myself, and how real God is. God is so real. He's a way maker. Never doubt him. When God has given you a vision, it's yours. Mm-hmm. And so he's equipped you with everything inside of you to accomplish that. So as soon as we go outside of ourselves looking to do what God told us to do, we're already stagnating it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I had an injury, and most people would have thought it was a setback, but it didn't. But to fast forward, we're at Olympic trials, and I take the heat sheets. So going into the Olympic trials, they have me 17th. I'm like, Daddy, don't have me make it in the finals. Mm-hmm. They have me make it to the semifinals. And I'm like, okay, I see how we are here. And I'm just, the pros are all there. I'm just starting out. Again, I don't have a contract. Mm-hmm. So I'm running in my Texas gear.
So what did it need to be? The top 8? Was it
top 6 goes to the Olympic team for the relay. Top 3 run the open, and then the 100 and 400, they take the top 6 to create the relay pool. And they had me overall. So they take, in the field size to go to Olympic trials, they take 24. Okay. 24 for the 400 and 32. Okay. So as long as you have the time and you make the cut, you can go try out. Okay. When they make the team, top 3 go, and then for the relays, out of the 100 and 400, the top 6 to create the relay pool. All right, so I put all the heat sheets up on my mirror. That's when Fantasia's song had come out. She had just won American Idol.
Okay.
Yes, Believe. Yes. I Believe. Yes, that was my song. So I played it over and over again. That song was so real. And every time I ran my first round, and everybody who didn't make it back to the next round out of any heats, I took a black Sharpie
No, you did.
Yes, I did on my mirror. Because they said I was 17, so I just went ahead and eliminated those people. Because they said I was 17. So already I broke the mold day one. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now we have the semifinals. Go run the semifinals. My roommate at the time, God bless her, she's now a minister, Dr. Demetra Davis. It was Demetra Washington at the time. She didn't make it to the finals, so I had to Sharpie her name out too on that same mirror she was brushing her teeth in. She understood. Mm-hmm. I'm on assignment. Mm-hmm. And so now we down at 8. So now I'm just waiting on the heat sheet to come out for the finals and what the lane assignments. And lo and behold, God gave me lane 8. I just needed the lane in the race. Right. Whether it was 1 or 8. Right. And when I got lane 8, I was like, oh, I'm already the winner. I'm already in front of everybody. Right. All I just need to not see 7 people.
You gotta hold it.
I can just not see 7 people. And so I'm out of lane 8 and I'm thinking to myself, and y'all said I was 17. And I'm out here in the finals. Right.
See, right there, you could have let that take over your mind. Because already, you already told me, like, physically, what mm-hmm. your hardest workouts mm-hmm. were, right? Mm-hmm. And I was going to ask you, like, mentally, you know, how did you prepare? Right. So you coming in 17, you could have letting that just taken up. Yes, definitely. And you could have felt like, I'm not going to be able to do this. Come from all the way from 17 to be in the top 8. But you were strong mentally, mm-hmm. and you had a strategy. Yeah. You talk about you marking people off one
yeah, because the audacity to say I'm 17.
Yes.
So let me show you. My God is bigger.
Right.
You need to tell me I've been doing this, and whoever randomly decided. And okay, so you see the different times, but I don't know when those girls ran those times. They haven't run me today. Right. We got to meet today. Yes. Right. And I'm so glad that you pointed out so often. We will look at outside factors to tell us what we're not qualified to do. If God called you, He qualified you. Right. Here's the thing about visions. When people have visions in their minds and they have ideas and dreams, well, write it down.
Yeah, make it plain.
Habakkuk 2:2. Write it down and make it plain. But the reason why is because once you start speaking it and giving life to it, we be the ones killing it. It don't be other people. Yes, so go ahead and write it down, so you can make it plain to yourself. Yeah. So now we can know that that's what God said to do. That's why it came up through you, and you are the authority over that. So it means you have to be in alignment and be obedient to find those people who need to be in alignment and be servant leaders with you. Right? Yeah. Because God has already given you an authority over such thing. So as you bring people into your atmosphere, you have to do some discerning because they have to stay in alignment with what God has given you authority over. People don't see their dreams come to fruition because they believe that since so-and-so has done that already, let me go to them. But God gave you something different, and maybe that's not the one you go to. Maybe you're supposed to go to the person who hasn't done it already because they have something fresh to add that God wanted for you. Yeah. And that comes with discerning, and that comes with, keeping our eyes focused on steadfast on what is in our heart space to do, and not having naysayers or the world tell us, well, I didn't do it that way. Okay, I didn't do the Olympics anybody's way either. The Olympic trials, and made the team and left with a gold medal. So when the gun went off in lane 8, and I realized that I did exactly what me and God said we were going to do, it doesn't matter what anyone else said.
You say me and God.
Yeah, I was 7, right? I had to pay for a $10 Pilates video 6 months ago, right? So now we're in lane 8, and I'm the winner. And as we come around to the last 100, the people who were at my peripheral were 2 women who were in my training group who I had yet to beat all season. And this was the 3rd training group I had gotten to. So when I left to train Marion Jones, I left my coach, went to Marion Jones, left them about 4 months before Olympic trials, and went to a new group. Most people wouldn't do that in one season. Again, if it wasn't in alignment, it wasn't looking like God said, I have to trust God. I have to be faithful enough to move. I left Marion Jones' training group because I felt like what I needed, I wasn't getting enough of. So I got to walk away. Just because she's great doesn't mean that that's what God wants me to stay and train, because I wasn't getting what He needed from Moushaumi. Right. And then when I go move into what I'm supposed to, I get what I need. Now, Olympic medals are happening. So when we get to this 100-meter line, and I see at my peripheral, that's it. It's a wrap. I got these top 6. These 2 will be behind me. And sure enough, when I looked up at the scoreboard and I saw my name top 6, I was like, okay. And sure enough, went on to the Olympics in the second leg of the prelim round. And it was a unique experience. I thought, me being on the prelim round, I was going to be able to have my get all jazzed up. It should be an easy run. It's the semifinals. You know, I know I can run fast enough to run the finals. This is easy work. Yeah. So let me just get in there, you know, finagle, be cute. You know, I'm like, I'm 23, I'm fresh out of college. There'll be a lot of people watching. My husband might see me this time. I'm ready, guy. Have my little, and crazy part about it is for how we think things are happening, my cycle comes on the night before. Okay. So let's just talk about what we think are adversities. Yeah. A natural part of life, right? Yeah. And that's why I was like, you know what? There's a message in this somewhere down the road, Lord. I don't know what this message is today on the night before my Olympics, but okay. Because Thursday I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be tired. Which when I became a coach, one of the things that I promoted and advocated that our young women do is take control of their bodies. And don't let their bodies have control of their mind. Yeah. Your body's doing the natural thing that God already designed it to do. Make sure you know your vitamins. Make sure you're aware. Make sure you're hydrated. Things like that. As opposed to being defeated. Right. You know, here are workouts for that. Take a rest. Make sure you go to bed a little bit earlier tonight, right? So there's lessons in everything. But I can tell you, when I get to my turn, the gun goes off. The young lady who's first leg, she takes the baton. We're in lane 1. And in my mind, I just know we're about to be first. Because America is always first. It's just the semifinals. We win the 4x4. I was to understand it. So, you know, we win. And I noticed, I look up at the 150 mark, and I'm like, she's not leading. We're not winning. I was expecting to get the baton to 5 meter lead. I'm ready to finesse. I wasn't really trying to gut it. I was doing my part, but I was ready to finesse and run fast in that, make it back to the finals, you know, so I had my little, what was it? That's when they had the wet and wavy micro braids. Okay. Where I had moisturized to give for my mousse to stick. I'm telling you, I was ready. And then I'm seeing her, I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, she's fourth. Come on. I'm yelling for her. And I just remember I grabbed the baton. The only thing I remember is the entire time I was running is an oval white light. And it was so loud I could only hear my own breathing. And they were screaming, USA, USA. And I'm going to come back to that to talk about the state of our nation now. But when I took the baton, I spin around. I run out of my skin. I don't even see people again until I get ready to give it to the girl who I'm passing off to, Monique. And I just remember that where everything I thought that moment was about to be was something completely different. Right. I did what I had to do. Right. There was no finesse. It was get the job done. That's the servant leader heart. That's how I got a gold medal. And it took time to really unpack my journey to understand how we accomplish great things. We can't accomplish anything holding our hands like this. We can't accomplish things holding on to our dreams and our hopes and our ideas. We have to put them on paper and make it plain. Yeah. Then we have to ask, who needs to be a part of this? How do I bring them in? And then we have to discern. And we have to be willing to say, you know what, at this part of it, you're not aligning with what is going to set us to go forward. How can you get back on path? Or how can I best help you help me? Right? Oftentimes when we're in charge of things or we're moving, it's dictatorship. No. The only way I can get the best out of you if I've served you first. So if it's my gold medal to win, how do I show up for my coach? What are his needs? I need to be concerned about his family. Before a coach starts barking orders, coach, you eat today? Did you eat something? Right? Because it matters. Yeah. This is a team, right? And so when we're thinking about accomplishing things, that's why I speak so much on servant leadership, because it's not something that I see often people speaking of. But if I talk about how I accomplish a gold medal, obedience, discipline, and servant leadership. And it's easy for us to accomplish things and feel like, oh, well, no, I just want to do it this way because I know it. I'm the expert, so just follow me. When we move like that, we miss the beauty of why God made everyone else. Yeah. Let me follow you, but hey, here's this idea. Because you do know it's more efficient this way. And just because and we don't know what we don't know. So, you know, when I look at that journey, right, we don't know, we don't know. And so, although I didn't get to run the finals, I understood that my impact on that second leg is what allowed us to get back to a finals to win a gold medal. And then fast forward to 2010 when the Balco scandal with drugs and everything in baseball came through. The young lady who had run the first leg was caught up in that scandal. So they were wanting to take our medals. So we had to fight for those medals. We had to give account. We had to speak as to why we could keep them. And it came down to my testimony. And what my testimony was is I wanted them to go back and watch the film. I said, she was a non-factor. I said, if you guys go back and watch my leg on the prelim round, because us being in the finals, we were supposed to be and we were going to win. You can't say that we wouldn't have beat them. and she didn't run the final. She ran the prelim round.
Okay.
Right? So that's what we would have been disqualified for the prelim round. And so what I told them, I said, go back and watch the film. If you all see where I got the baton tied for 4th. She was a non-factor. And now when you go and look and Google the results, you see my name and the other girls, and hers is no longer there, and we kept our medals.
Nice.
I said, God makes no mistakes. For the reason that God put me second leg, for the reason that God said, this is going to be your moment, because this is going to be important some years from now. 6 years from now, you're going to be the one with the education and wisdom to take note of that moment that you stood in, looked across at the 150, realized y'all were in 4th, and understood this was no longer about you, and got you all back around. Who knew that our medals would come into jeopardy?
Right.
But it was the thought, like, wait a minute. She the reason I didn't even get back in the finals. I had to run out my skin and kind of blew up. I almost failed trying to get it to Monique, but came in the lead. So she was a non-factor. So let's not lose these medals. And they heard me, right? And so, you know, I just thank God for all the times that I've shown up in the world. But I had to, when people ask me, you know, how do you win a gold medal? Having a pure heart, having joy, trust in my abilities and what God said we were going to do. What I said at 7, I still kept believing in. I didn't have to have a contract. Favor. Yeah. Favor. Yeah. And you know, the favor comes when you have faith. Yeah. Yeah, see, people think you have to do something special for a favor. No, you just have to have faith and keep believing. Yeah, you can't get frustrated sending that email. You can't be worried after you send an email saying, listen, however it's supposed to be is going to be. Once you've done all you can, you give it to God. And then when you don't know what else to do, that's when you really give it to God and sit still and be present and watch the birds land on the table. Because we get so busy. That's when favor comes. Because you're going to see that bird going to lead you to it. You're going to fly off to a billboard with the phone there like, oh, that's what I was looking for. Because you never looked over to that billboard that was behind the trees that the bird. That's how God works. Yeah. And that's how intentional we have to be with each other. Yeah. God has asked us to serve each other. And when we're that intentional, when we're that present, when we're into each other's feelings and acknowledge them, see them, hear them, make a person feel safe, that's when God's favor is upon you. Because now you're living in faith. Now you're walking in faith. You're not so in demand and in control. And that was how I won that gold medal.
Well, I love the story. I love how you tell your story with the enthusiasm and everything. Going back to this relay, Team USA. Yeah. And thinking about with, you know, all the ladies that you had to train with and the baton exchange and all of that. What do you think helped you establish the chemistry and the trust to get the job done?
That's a good word. Being on one accord, right? Okay. And I think for the Olympics, your goal is to win a gold medal, right? So that's easy to keep aligning to and keep pulling back to, is to win a gold medal. People kind of get in the hairs and the weeds about how you do it, but it's easy to get back into that alignment, right? So being a team player, understanding that that's the case. Let's say it's not a gold medal, though. Let's say it's your idea. And this is where people struggle. Right? This is where people struggle building companies and businesses and who comes on board. It's not a gold medal. Your idea is the gold medal. Your company is the gold medal. So how do we keep people on board with the things that are ours to do? Your next word, trust. Right? That's so major. And it's such a huge thing for our Black community. And the reason I use thing is because I don't know what to call it. I don't know if I want to call it issue or concern. We as people want to trust. Right? I think our disappointments make us a little bit leery. I think what we see on media in worldly interactions make us concerned. But when you're building towards a goal, and that goal is your own, one, you need to trust the people that you bring along, and they have to trust you. Right. And at any time there's a disconnect, you have to immediately talk about it. Get in the weeds. Be present. It's not ever a time for, no, we not. It's, what's going on? Where are we at? How are you feeling? Right? And that's where you start. How are you feeling? Yes, their feelings absolutely matter. Right. Absolutely matter, because it's their feelings that's causing the lack of trust somewhere or a disconnect, let's say that. And typically, when people start talking about it, they're not feeling enough for you. There's there's some disappointment that's in there. Whether it's them feeling that they'll disappoint you or you disappoint them, that's where it comes from. And we have to be open in that communication. See, when we're exchanging batons and we're practicing that, we can't be disingenuous about what was happening. Right. We can't be like your hand was in the proper place. No, we're talking about that immediately and adjusting that. We have to become comfortable in society, adjusting each other. And we have to become comfortable with how we do it. Tone, timing, and delivery are so important. I tell people that all the time. If you care about somebody, if you love something that they're talking about, you will be mindful of your tone. You will be mindful of your delivery, and you will definitely be mindful of your timing.
Right.
That builds trust. That means you're mindful of me. That means you have an intention of care. That doesn't mean I might always get it right, but you can recognize I have an intention of care. And now you can converse with me and tell me what you need from me. And you can tell me also what made you feel uncomfortable. Because you know I have an intentionality of care. I might just not be getting it right? And so when things don't work themselves out, we have to be able to ask ourselves, what's their intention here? And we got to be honest with whoever it is. And we have to be honest to say their intentions aren't well for me right now.
Right.
How do I deal with that? How do I talk about that? How do I release them from this right here so we can be better and stay better, right? Because this is just the thing, right? That doesn't mean that we're not going to get this done over here. But I want to preserve relationships, right? Because relationships are worth more than currency. So there's no gold medal, no opportunity, no book, no podcast, no store, no anything that has more value than the relationships that we're building. So all that gets put on ice, to the point. And what happens is when we don't deal with the things that we should, our subconscious mind will get out of control and it will take over us because we're putting things there that
might not even.
They're definitely not there. What happens is what we start to see things that affirm that subconscious mind in the world more than ever before, right? Now, if you deal with cheating, if you had to deal with cheating, now everything you see is somebody's cheating, right? But you never saw that lens before. Change your lens, change what you see. And that starts in the mind. And that starts with being honest with who we are. So when we're talking about building teams and galvanizing around affirming and uplifting and getting things accomplished, we have to have that trust. We have to be on one accord about this one thing that may not be my idea, but I said I believe in my sister. So what does that look like? How does she need me to show up? It can't be because Moushaumi thinks it's great. I have to hear how you need me to show up. And then I got to tell you where I can and cannot. Or just to say, you know what? I don't feel comfortable in that capacity because I feel like that just isn't going to work. And then we can dialogue. Well, sis, it may not, but this is my why. I got to love that why. I got to respect that why. And then I put my why aside and I fall right in because I'm a servant leader, right? And vice versa. So when they say iron sharpens iron, what I wish they would have said is service sharpens service.
Okay. Servant sharpens servant. Service.
Yes. And I like what you said, servant sharpens servant. Because that's what it is, right? So like, me showing up for you is because you're a woman of service. And I know I could probably call on you and be like, hey, can you bring a couple of your books? I'm having an event. I think some people need to have access to it. Whether they purchase it or not, please have it on the table. So, and bring your website because I have a population of people who need to know this exists, right? That's what we do for each other, right? And that's how we continue to elevate. That's the favor because God wants to see that.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't make it for us to just hold on to.
Right.
As a matter of fact, if you cup your hands, you can't overflow. Right. You can't even have any, your hands are supposed to be like this. So it hits it gets wet, and then it pours out to the people. You have plenty. Your hands are wet. You're not dry. But if you hold it like this, your water's going to fall out and then eventually going to dry up. And don't let the sun be in them. And now you're wondering, like, I don't have anything else because your hands aren't open to receive.
And my mom used to always, growing up, she would always say, nothing can get in them. If you keep them tight, nothing can get in there. She always would preach that.
Right. Yep. I have an open hand, open heart.
Yes.
Yeah, relationships are worth more than currency. And it was the value of my relationships that helped me acquiesce to a gold medal. It was truly about, and I think that's why on the relay, I always showed up differently because it was more about others than it was about myself. And I was always a part of very successful record-breaking relays, Olympic gold medal relays, because there's something that I love about service. That is when I feel full. And it's not just me, it's humanity.
Right.
We were not built to be here by ourselves. We were not built to navigate this earth alone. So it's important that we find relationship and we honor relationship. That's why, when I see our homeless population, I'm always wondering where is their family or who's their relationship, right?
That support.
just because you feel valuable. You know, when you know that you're worthy, and we all are worthy, you get up and do something different. You get up and make a better decision than you did yesterday. Right. You know, and so, you know, that's why I try to encourage and speak more about servant leadership now more than ever before, because it's really what I was living in. You know, I didn't know that that's what it was called at the time, but I realized the people who had authority over me, I still served them. And then the people who were following me, I served them as well. You know, every team at Dr. Phillips that I coached that did well, the weightlifting team did well because I served those girls. I was their coach, but I served them. They didn't have a need. Mm-hmm. If they needed, I don't care if it was a hair tie, makeup, to do their hair, a ride home, a place to sleep, a dinner. If their family needed something, gas to get you there, what do we need? Mm-hmm. You know, do you need a warm place to stay? Is your place uncomfortable? Do you need me to get you a social worker? These weights can wait. Mm-hmm. I saw them. They were human, valuable tools of young women who have something to offer the world. And the tool that they have to offer the world is every gift that God put inside of them. But if I didn't affirm them and those gifts, they'll never acquiesce to that. But now they will. I don't even know what all the tools they have. I was just a weightlifting coach, right? Mm-hmm. But what it was important was that they saw who they were, and they were enough in the world. Right where they were. And to continue to become better, however they see fit for their journey, but always be mindful that they're enough because they were here. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I think that's what we have to continue to do, and we'll be all right.
Listen, and I was going to ask, but I think you gave your final message, because I definitely was going to say, what would be a final message that you would tell an aspiring Olympian, you know, the young athletes?
Yes, you know, I would tell our young people, just keep it fun and keep it pure. You have to take a light heart on that court, on that field. Stay disciplined in what you want to do, but keep it pure. So it means it's honest. Mm-hmm. It's done right, with the right people, in the right way, for the right reasons. Mm-hmm. It's honest. It's done right, with the right people, in the right way, for the right reasons. And that's when all things are accomplished.
She said it again, y'all. Listen, I cannot let you all go without showing you this gold medal. And it is heavy. We talk about weight. We talk about hardware. Yes, it's heavy, y'all. I definitely appreciate you coming out to visit us here at Tarika Said Again. Your story is amazing. And I definitely appreciate how you pour back, you know, into the community, as well as just right today. You know, I'm sure they've gotten something out of it as an athlete, even though we're talking about track. But they should be able to have a takeaway. Just in general. Yeah. The information that you gave is universal. You know what I mean?
Thank you, sis.
So we thank you so much. You. Yes, and final, I listen to that still voice, you know, or that whisper that told you what you was going to do at the age of 7. And you carried it out. You was obedient, putting that step forward. Yes, ma'am. And if we don't try, you'll never know. Right. You could have just been like, that's too much hard work. I'm not. But you were obedient as a child, as an adult. You kept going. So, yeah, I just want to say that I feel it's all about obedience.
Yes, you know? I love that.
Yeah.
Great.
So, thank you so
Thank
much.
you. It's beautiful.
Thank you all for listening in. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to YouTube, iHeartRadio, and we can't forget Spotify. Have a good one. Peace.